to all departments of social programming and domestic anthropology. Topic of high importance. Under the guise of sacred rituals within societal units, there may lurk mechanisms of the collective unconscious, seasoned with dietary neurotransmitters. Object: family traditions. Objective: determine whether they are bonds, paper clips, or the creaks of an old sofa upon which this all plays out. The archive now begins its analysis of one of the most resilient social constructs. We will not speak of value, we will speak of function. Not that traditions unite, but how and why they do so, and why the process so often resembles absurdist theater with a mandatory third plate of Olivier salad over Grandpa's left shoulder. Hidden Archive Fact Number 1. The sacred ritual as a tool to overcome chaos. Any tradition is, first and foremost, predictability. In a world full of uncertainty, work, politics, the weather, a family creates a microcosm where everything is known in advance. The hidden mechanism, a strict schedule, we sit down at 6 p.m. sharp, an unchanging menu, only turkey made from Grandma's recipe, fixed rules, Uncle Colia will give the same exact toast. These are neurological anchors. The ritual reduces anxiety, giving the brain a break from constant decision-making. This isn't a spiritual practice. It's a psychotherapeutic stress relief technique, inherited from ancestors who knew exactly how to appease the harvest spirits to avoid starving. NSF Number 1. Research in family psychology shows that rituals are especially strong in families that have experienced trauma, war, migration, loss. That head cheese made from a 1947 recipe isn't just food. It's materialized memory, a talisman, proof. We survived that, we will survive this too. The tradition becomes a metaphor for survival, and the more terrifying back then was, the more absurd and obsessive the ritual may seem now. Because what's at stake isn't the taste of the salad, but the feeling of safety itself. Hidden Archive Fact Number 2. The comedy show as an integral part of the program. Now, let's analyze a typical scene. New Year's Eve. Everyone's crammed in the kitchen. Character 1. Grandma the director demands unwavering adherence to the ritual of layering herring under a fur coat in perfectly even strata. Her authority isn't based on wisdom, but on a monopoly of knowledge. She is the keeper of that specific taste, the key to the nostalgic high. Her pies aren't just pies. They are a license key to the family's identity. To refuse one is to defect from the tribe. Character 2. Grandpa, the storyteller. Every year, after his third drink, he recounts the same story from 1978 about how he almost bought a Lada but bought a sofa instead. His function isn't to convey information. His function is to initiate synchronization. Everyone sighs, shakes their heads, says, "Oh, Dad, you're too much." This isn't a dialogue. It's a choral part in the family oratorio. Everyone knows the lines. Everyone knows the reaction. It's a confirmation. We're still the same team. Character 3. The cynical grandkid, often you, who cracks jokes, films everything on their phone, and moans, "When will this end?" They are the agent of entropy, a necessary system component. Their protest is part of the ritual. It allows everyone else to feel like guardians of tradition, to unite against a common enemy, an assault on the sacred absurdity. And later, they'll still eat 3 of the pies. Archive humor. Your Family Tradition is a TV series in its 30th season. The script hasn't changed. The actors are aging. The costumes, reindeer sweaters, are the same. Yet the ratings remain sky high because the audience, that's you, doesn't want anything to change. A new director, e.g., your wife who suggests replacing Olivier salad with quinoa, faces a revolt from the conservative board of producers, everyone over 50. Because it's not about the food, it's about the need to see familiar faces on a familiar set. Hidden Archive Fact Number 3. The biochemistry of tradition, or why that special taste works like a drug. Nostalgia isn't just a feeling, it's a physiological process. The mechanism: the smell of tangerines and cinnamon, the taste of a specific salad, the sound of the clock tower chimes. These are triggers for autobiographical memory. They activate the hippocampus and the amygdala. The brain doesn't just deliver a memory, it delivers the entire sensory package: safety, belonging, childhood. This triggers a release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and dopamine, the anticipation reward hormone. In simpler terms, grandma's pie literally, chemically makes you happier. Not because it's so delicious, it might be dry, but because your brain knows in advance what kind of high it's supposed to get from this ritual, and it rewards you generously. You're addicted to your own past. And grandma is your dealer. Hidden Archive Fact Number 4. When ritual becomes a prison. The dark side of tradition. Not all traditions are sacred. Some are simply preserved methods of control and manipulation. Markers of a toxic tradition. 1. Rigidity. Not a single detail can be changed. Suggesting roasted turkey instead of fried goose is treated as high treason. This speaks of fear, that altering one detail will cause the entire fragile construct of family identity to collapse. Obligation through guilt. If you don't come for Mother's Day, Mom will cry, her blood pressure will spike. Here, tradition isn't a voluntary ritual, but a tool for emotional blackmail. Love is measured not by the quality of interaction, but by adherence to formalities. Absence of joy. Everyone goes through the motions with stony faces, because it's what we do. This is no longer tradition, it's an obsessive-compulsive neurosis on a family scale. Conduct a tradition audit. Divide them into 3 categories. Category A, the sacred core. Things without which your family's world would genuinely collapse. For example, gathering for grandma's birthday. Do not touch these. Category B, the pleasant elective. Tasty pies, watching a favorite holiday movie. These can be varied, delegated, simplified. Category C, neurotic clutter. Things everyone hates but does because it's the way it's always been. Like a 5-hour visit to distant relatives you have nothing in common with. These require a bold ritual funeral, or a major transformation into Category B. Become an innovator within the system. Don't break the tradition. Carefully modernize it. Suggest not canceling the Olivier salad, but making it together with a new sauce. Don't scrap the toasts, but add a rule that each person says something nice about the other from the past year. You're not destroying the ritual, you're grafting new, living meaning onto it. Create your own traditions. The strongest rituals are those that arise spontaneously and bring joy here and now. Sunday pancakes, an annual hiking trip, a silly photo shoot in matching ugly sweaters. This is no longer an ancestral legacy, but your own, living family language that you are creating. The Archive's final conclusion. Family traditions are not a sacred ritual, nor are they a comedy show. They are a living organism, composed of 2 strands of DNA. 1, the DNA of survival, predictability, safety, the transmission of experience. Part 3, explaining the second, vital strand. 2, the DNA of absurdity, the ridiculous details, the funny mishaps, the quirky habits that create that unique atmosphere. Kill the absurdity, and you're left with a dry, dogmatic scheme, a prison. Kill the ritual, and you're left with meaningless clownery. lacking depth. The perfect tradition is when you, holding a plate of that salad everyone jokes about but still eats, simultaneously feel a connection to something greater than yourself, the chain of generations, and a sincere warm laugh watching Dad try to assemble the grill using instructions from 1992. This isn't a sacred artifact, it's domestic magic that works only as long as everyone believes in its importance and allows themselves to laugh at its absurdities. P.S. Our embedded observer at a typical family gathering reported a key line. After 4 hours of cooking, 3 hours at the table, and 2 hours of cleaning, Grandma, tired but happy, looked at the sleeping grandchildren and dirty dishes and said, "Well, everything as usual." Good. In that everything as usual lies the whole point. Chaos, managed by love and habit, transforms from a comedy show into the only place in the world that will accept you, even in that ridiculous sweater.